let me try. The motion was an intent to move us forward because we are at a point where we haven't taken any action. We're not giving any direction to the commissioners, and we need to do that. I agree with that. As far as the dollar figure, though, I think I sense that, for one, people are generally uncomfortable with saying, just go ahead and keep the court. Because there's a lot of variance in the figures that we have. $200,000 in one figure to deal with co-op, for instance. The roof going from, what is it, $300,000, $600,000 to $50,000. So what I did in the fast calculation was to take the lower figures that still gave us plenty of room for that, I think, to accommodate the 15% that we would need as a, to deal with unanticipated cost. So that's how I came up with that. And I think the $100,000, the $1 million gave us that range. And also, in addition to the comments regarding cooperative extension, I said earlier I am fully in support of cooperative extension coming back to the campus. In my calculation, as we have over time, we're looking at about $40,000, perhaps $40,000 plus annually that we would accrue because we're not paying rent, or co-op is not paying rent to another agency. So $45,000, is that? So
probably around 30,000 because they got utilities.
That's right. Okay, excuse me, 30,000 plus perhaps. But anyway, those figures were in my mind that would accommodate the intention of long ago, 5 years at least, of bringing co-op back here. And of course, the fiscal aspect of it, even if it's only $30,000, $35,000 a year, that would be calculated into the way we would pay for this over time.
Okay. Now, all the delegation members had their thoughts. There's a few people in the audience that want to say something before we take a vote. And so, yes, sir. And your name?
My name is Don Litchko, and I just wanted to ask on the $1 million that was stated, was the intent of that $1 million to include the demolition of the wings that were not on this proposal, were not there? So is that million including demolition, or is that million strictly renovation of the core?
That should include the, if I may,
Yes.
that would include the demolition of those, of the remaining wing there. Yes. The other wing's already taken care of. We're just talking about the one remaining wing that's in the green and red. That would come down.
Yeah. The two second wings. Two wings like this, we are thinking of core. Okay? We've got, yes, sir. Name?
Steve Brown from Wakefield. What is the cost to demo that green, the wing that's in the green, and to secure that portion of that wing to the core?
To break it up, I think we're saying about 200,000.
I think originally we were saying 125, 150. I think
Yeah.
somewhere there was a 200 figure thrown, but say 100.5 for conversation.
So 100.5 off of, say, the 800,000, or off the million?
It's not off anything. I think that's just the value of whatever they choose.
That
Well, no, I'm just saying-
150,000 would be included in the not to exceed $1 million.
Correct. So now you're actually bringing down the renovation side of the core down to
Yes,
850 or something like that.
yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Damon Steer, Damon Steer, Conway Sound. I have to ask about the high-speed internet going to Conway or Ospey. I don't think that will be insignificant. I gotta wonder about what the wisdom would be to bring it to a private rental building in Conway. What if the landlord doesn't want it or doesn't need it, doesn't want to pay for it? If you move co-op out and lines go to Conway, then you've kind of wasted this line on a private landlord.
Right.
Yep, that's what we're doing. That's what would happen. Chip?
Chip Malby. Just quick calculations, just to answer one question on the cooperative extension. Even if you budget $1 million, I'm sorry,
go right ahead. Okay.
even if you budget $1 million on your renovation, factoring their square footage of 4,500 square feet, you're still around $40,000 a year in rent at that current number. And one last thing on Representative Umberger's comments. If you retain some more space in that core to accommodate for just probation and parole and just the Carroll County Health Services at a rate of $10 a square foot, you're now taking your $60,000 a year debt budget and eliminating it completely from possible increases to the tax roll because you covered it with your rent from your cooperative extension as well as the rent from those two other operations. Thanks.
Okay, Representative McConkey.
Thank you. I just wanted to respond to Damon's question in that it's a university system that has received a grant to bring increased service to the North Country. And they've deemed that one of their best uses for that money is to send it to the cooperative extension wherever they might be. I believe what I've heard there also is that if it goes to Conway, it's going to be to the benefit of the Granite State College system, and I think that's still a viable use for that money. But if it looks like the cooperative extension is going to come down here, it would seem to me that maybe the university system should, in their infinite wisdom, possibly transfer that money to someplace that it might make more sense. I don't think it's a decision of the delegation where they go.
Just a point of information, I believe that Ann has told us that regardless of whether it's the system comes down to Ossipee, it will still go to Granite States.
That's
correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that we have an awful lot to say about it. And if we get DSL here, which is what we're thinking of, the high-speed internet, the cable, that cable. I can't remember the name of the cable, but yes.
I'm sorry, Betsy, can I just follow up?
Yeah.
I guess the question is, even regardless if it goes to Graham State College or not, would it still go to that private landlord? Assume the cooperative extension stays in Conway, but then they leave, or we decide later that you don't want to fund them. Then you've stuck that landlord with this bill for a high-speed internet that he may or may not want.
They shouldn't put it.
It's not up to the delegation.
And it's not up to the delegation, but just, it seems like it would be imperative to make a decision today and stick with whatever you want to do.
Okay. All right. Everybody ready, know what we're doing? If you are in favor of the motion to keep the core facility, the maximum not to exceed $1 million, you would vote yes. If you are opposed to that, you would vote no. Representative Algren.
No.
Representative Fleck.
Yes.
Representative Knox.
Yes.
Representative McCarthy. Frank.
McConkey or me?
McCarthy.
Yes.
Representative McConkey.
No.
Representative Merrow.
Yes.
Representative Patton votes yes. Representative Schmidt.
No.
No. Representative Treganza.
No.
Representative Umberger.
Yes.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3, 6 to 4. Okay. So what would happen is that we would like a plan that determines the core facility. Phew. Let's take a
Is that
break.
open? Is that open for amendment? Does it pass?
Representative McCarthy.
Now,
Yeah.
we just voted that all of the wings are gonna be demolished, is that correct?
That's correct.
And what goes on in the core will be discussed at a later date.
Yes. Representative Algren.
Would this motion be open now to further amendment?
Do a new motion, do whatever you want to do.
I would just like to make the motion exactly the same, but included in that core plan would be the inclusion of the cooperative extension.
Okay, Representative, is there a second to Representative Algren's motion to keep the core facility not to exceed $1 million and have cooperative extension come to the campus?
Second.
Second by Representative, okay, Algren. And numbers. This is to keep the core not to exceed $1 million and have extension move eventually to campus.
Well, I would say included in the plan would be my motion. I'm not
Not
making a
to exceed-
motion that we're bringing them here. I'm making the motion that in the plan, that cooperative extension, that their needs would be included in that plan. And I think we all understand that the pellet boiler will also be included in the plan, which is the whole impetus for this. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing is,
And-
okay, let me read it so we do. They keep the core facility, not to exceed $1 million, to include UNH extension. Is that what you want? Is that to include UNH extension needs? Or just include UNH extension? What?
Either way is fine. I think it's understood that, what the 4,500 square feet, I believe it was, that would be part of the plan. 'Cause
That extension
is-
would be part of the plan, so you are making a motion to include that we're gonna move extension here. That's to me, that's the.
Nope, I'm not making that motion. I'm making that motion that it's gonna be part of the plan that we see, because, that's a whole nother motion that they actually come, and that's up to them. Actually not up to us, as I would see it, but,
Representative Schmidt.
I am getting confused, which is easy to confuse me. We just voted to put $1 million in and maintain the core. There's X amount of square foot in the core. Within the $1 million, I surmised on the First Amendment that it would include the space for the cooperative extension. Now, the decision downstream as to whether they come or not is A, up to cooperative extension. It just seems a redundant thing to me, or am I missing the point? I don't get it.
I don't think it's redundant. I think that if cooperative extension is not included in the plan, that it is that $1 million spent over there is very pointless to the taxpayer. So
If it
I mean, we're
clarifies,
we
then I'll
as-
support it. I don't.
that's all. I just want to make sure that doesn't get dropped from the plan. I mean, or I think spending $1 million is ludicrous
Okay.
to renovate that building.
Representative McCarthy.
I have to disagree with Representative Schmidt. It was specifically stated that the motion that we voted on would not include the cooperative extension, that would be taken up at a later date. And that's why I voted yes on this. So if this is going to all of a sudden include the cooperative extension, I'll change my vote.
That's fine. It's just a separate motion. We didn't do that.
Could we
I'm sorry,
move
I'm
the
talking. I
question?
shouldn't.
Yes,
Let's-
Representative McConkey, did you have a?
Yeah, my point is, I'm not going to support the second motion, because I believe, as stated before, that we're creating an envelope, we're hoping for the cooperative extension, but they don't know if they can afford that place. I'm hoping they can. I think we're fine in the first motion, but I don't want to get caught. It's fine to say that 5 years ago, the delegation voted in favor of moving the co-op down here. But you know and I know that we can't bind any future legislation by something we govern today. So I suspect we'll be here going forward for this decision, but I don't think it's necessary to say that they're going to be there. I hope they're going to be there.
Representative Umberger.
Madam Chair, I think I moved the question. I didn't want to take it.
Okay, well, I
Ignored you.
yeah, I ignored you because people are raising their hand, and we might as well get this. I mean, we've been discussing it long enough, that it would be nice to get it discussed out so we don't have to do anything more.
Could I
I
point
withdraw the
out,
motion.
Madam Chairman?
Oh, Representative Algren withdraws the motion. Does it, Representative Knox, do you withdraw it?
I will, sir.
That's it. Yes, Representative